With the introduction of the e-passport, multiple acquisition by an individual is no longer obtainable. Identity fraud has been drastically reduced, forgery minimized, proxy enrollment abolished, and there has been improved revenue generation. Most of all, the nation's pride and integrity of Nigeria's travel document has been restored. The extension of the passport validity to 10 years was to align with International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO) and world trends, as 80% of the countries in the world have extended the validity of their passports to 10 years. The Nigerian new enhanced passport has passed ICAO standardization for rating quality, durability, identity theft proof, and unique to the holder due to the integration of National Identity Number (NIN) as requirement for processing and producing it. That's it on Immigration Half Hour today. For your questions, reactions, and feedback on this program, join us on these social media platforms: www.immigration.gov.ng. Send your emails to nis.pro@immigration.gov.ng. Our Twitter handle is twitter@NIGimmigration. Thank you for joining us. See you next week. Same time, same station. I am Victoria Omari Ubeka. Goodbye.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talkie Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder.
Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
Arise, oh compatriots. It's time to use our voice.
Beyond Six Packs.
Bills, 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 bills.
Pay the bills. Keep paying my telephone bills. Keep paying my bills.
Welcome to Gallery.
Me and my paddies.
London for what?
London for medicine.
Medicine for what?
Medicine for coffee.
Are you sickness?
To our illness. Welcome to Gist Zone.
All right, my name is the Eselucien Wego One. Ona nyokoko nyonyo.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
And there's the start and get. Promises to Cheryl. Winds up that one. Archbishop of basketball, goal! He hung on that net like a stalk up a tree.
NTA Sports 24 brings you all sports, all time and all day. Tune in to watch NTA Sports 24 on Star Times Channel 270, StarSat on Channel 434, and Free TV on Channel 731. NTA Sports 24, where sports thrive.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Gombe State is home to a variety of solid minerals, from industrial minerals to fuel minerals and so many others. Unfortunately, many of these minerals have largely remained untapped, except for a few, such as limestone, coal, and gypsum, that are generally exploited by artisans. Today on this episode of Mining in Nigeria, we'll take you through mining activities at a gypsum mining site in Gombe, where you'll see the potentials of the mineral in the state and how much is tapped. But before we bring you that, we will take news highlights from the diary of the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. My name is Gabriel Ojile, welcoming you to this edition of Mining in Nigeria. Don't go away.
The road to shared mining prosperity. We must ensure that we do not do it in a way that harms our health or our environment. Artisanal mining and the life to enjoy the wealth from it is possible if we put in place the proper preventive measures and provide the right equipment. No country should have to pay for its economic prosperity and development with the lives and well-being of its people.
On the news today, Adegbite calls on miners and investors to focus on value addition, just as illegal miners were arrested in Imo State. Stay tuned as we bring you details of these stories.
The 2020 edition of the Nigerian Mining Week is set to hold virtually from the 12th through the 16th of October. Disclosing details prior to the start of the event, the Honorable Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Architect Olamilekan Adegbite, said the COVID-19 pandemic and the need to adhere to safety measures is responsible for the decision to host the event on a virtual platform.
This year's program is unique for obvious reasons, and I think as read out by the President of MAN. We wanted last year, which was my first mining week as a minister, I thought we should have something grander, something more grandiose this year. And I decided that we should move the venue to the International Conference Center, away from the NAV Center. But as they say, man proposes and God disposes. We never thought of the pandemic. Be that as it may, we thought that we should not give in and still hold this platform virtually.
Adegbite also gave an insight into some of the events that will take place during the week.
We are hoping to have about 2,000 participants from all over the world online that will join us. There will be regular people who market their products through this forum, not physically this time, but of course virtually as well. There will be interactions online. There will be opportunity for roundtable talks that we normally have. There will be opportunity for workshops, and of course there will be ample opportunities for question and answers, for people to make their inquiries and for us to be able to satisfy them.
Speaking earlier, President Miners Association of Nigeria Alhaji Kabiru Ankara underscored the necessity of the event, which according to him is why the event will still hold despite the pandemic. He then gave assurances that participation will be at no cost.
We would like to position the 2020 edition as an innovative, engaging platform, delivering trusted information, providing content and solutions for local and international stakeholders across the value chain, from key mining companies and investors to small-scale miners and government representatives, all looking at the future of Nigerian mining together. After 4 years of partnership and live events, 2020 is offering Nigeria mining with the opportunity to be a trailblazer by offering the mining community a different way of engaging at national and international levels. Creating that connectivity, networking, and learning will be at the heart of the digital platform, maintaining business engagement and ultimately building a stronger brand out of this challenging experience.
Today, we are to buy the same bar.
The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, architect Olamilekan Adegbite, has again called on investors in the solid mineral sector to focus on value addition for minerals. The minister made this call in an interview recently. He disclosed that the ministry is focusing on creating a gold economy that is focused on value addition within the country.
But we are also saying that we can revive the gold economy itself in Nigeria. Because keeping gold as a reserve of your wealth is one thing, but actually adding value to that gold and producing jewelry out of it, which multiplies the value. Like I said, that same bullion that cost 123 million, you can make 500 million naira out of that if you add value to it. Instead of just retaining it as bullion, you smelt it down and you use that 12.5 kilogram of gold and turn it into different kinds of jewelries, nice designs. And women love it. Ladies, they go and buy it.
Architect Adegbite also disclosed that the ministry has done a lot in attracting businesses and is open for investors, especially the locals and business interests who want to join the sector, as a means to stimulate local interest in mining.
We've done a few things, and I think the most important one is the accessibility. From bottom up, top down, you have free access to the people, the players in the industry. I'm talking on the government side. So investors, just inquirers, people who are interested, they are free to come in, and talk to us, even at the top level. So I think that one has encouraged a lot of our people.
The Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Mr. Anjuma Elisha, has paraded 29 suspects for allegedly engaging in illegal mining activities in Imo State. Mr. Anjuma said that the arrests were effected by a combined team involving the military, police and the Federal Road Safety Commission, following a directive by the governor of the state, Governor Hope Uzodimma, to crack down on illegal miners in the state. The commandant noted that illegal mining, which is one of the causes of landslides and flooding, would not be allowed to continue in the state. He added that profiling of the suspects would be conducted on the suspects before they are charged to court. Imo State government had earlier placed a ban on illegal mining and had directed security agencies to crack down suspects.
Illegal exportation of our solid minerals is economic sabotage. You can do the mineral export business the right way. Apply for a mineral export license. Get and fill the Certificate of Incorporation Forms CAC 2 and 7. Give the source of the mineral. Get an inspection report. Pay royalty of 5% only and pronto. We are in the mineral export business legally and responsibly. Stop the illegal exportation of our solid minerals. For further inquiries, visit us at our headquarters, number 2, Luanda Crescent, off Adetokumbo Ademola Crescent, Wuse Zone 2, Abuja, FCT, Nigeria, or call us on +234 952 390 764 or +234 908 740 4761. You can also visit our website at www.minesandsteel.gov.ng or send an email to iaismp.support@minesandsteel.com. This message from the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development.
Gypsum is one of the minerals that is underexploited in Nigeria. In fact, it is estimated that Nigeria has over 8.5 million tons of gypsum, but only about 100,000 tons are exploited annually, and mostly by artisans only. Good and very high quality gypsum have been reported to abound in Gombe, Yobe, and parts of Adamawa states. On the issues today, we will bring you our visit to a gypsum mining site in Gombe and how the mineral is exploited. Stay tuned.
Gombe State is located in the northwestern part of Nigeria. Just like every other state, Gombe is blessed with a number of minerals, one of which is gypsum. This mineral is often used in the production of cement, tiles, POP and chalk. Nigeria has an estimated resource of about 8.5 million tons of gypsum, with a local production of about 100,000 tons per annum. Gypsum found in Gombe State is of very high quality that meets international standards. But the sad story is that most mining activities are carried out on an artisanal level. This is Gamawa Miners and Multipurpose Nigeria Limited, a local mining company that specializes in mining gypsum. It is located in Tongo area of Funakaye local government area of Gombe State. The mines began operations in 1990 and mines up to 15,000 tons of gypsum annually. Yaya Rima owns these mines and tells us more on how operations are carried out here.
Wannan kamfanin mu ne na Gama Miners, wanda muna ba kamfanin Nigeria gypsum. Mun fara kuma wannan aiki tun 1990 muka fara shi. Na farko za mu zo mu samu mai gona mu sai filinsa, mu je gaban sarki da mai gona mu sai mu biya shi, mu je jiha, mu je ma'aikatan mining development, mu nemi lasin na mining, a ba mu izini, mu zo mu nemo laborori wanda daga 18 years din sama, mu zo mu sauyi kayan aiki kamar igiya manya-manya masu ƙarfi da hangulog da helmet da diga da shebur da helpan, saboda bamu da ƙarfin da ba mu samun tallafi wanda za mu iya babban mining wanda za mu kawo mashina, to dole muna yi mining na talakawa na ƙananan ƙarfi.
When in operations, this mine alone provides a livelihood for over 25,000 people who come to either mine or engage in one business or the other.
Kamar wannan kamfanin na Gama akwai mutum 25,000, amma kamar area Tongo gaba ɗaya haka akwai mutum ya kai 500,000 haka suke wannan mining, saboda ba wai mutanen Tongo kawai ba, Funakaye local government, Kwami local government, har mutanen Gombe local government, duk da su local government dai aza suna zuwa nan. A to saboda duk nan gypsum, duk Najeriya bayan da kai nan gypsum duka Gombe state ne number 1 gypsum mai kyau ko mai yawa. Da lokacin ana aiki kuka zo nan sai kun ta mamaki kaman kasuwa za ku gani da ɗan mata da manya-manyan mata haka da masu samari da baƙi. Ai sai zaki ta mamaki in kin zo nan, saboda yanzu yanayin damuna ne, siyasa ba ma bari a zo a yi aiki din saboda kar a samu matsala.
Gypsum mining, like most minerals, is carried out by artisans with local equipment such as shovel, diggers and headpans.
Muna mining ɗinsa local mining muke, saboda ba mu da ƙarfin da za mu sai wasu equipment na je na tono. Muna mining ne da digger da shovel. Muna digging ne da digger da shovel.
Deep pits are dug up to 9 meters deep to find the mineral. After digging, the mineral is taken out and sorted out for bagging. After this is done, the mineral is then supplied to cement manufacturers such as Ashaka Cement, Sokoto Cement, and as far as Shagamu in Ogun State. Unfortunately, at the time of the visit to this mine, there were no mining activities due to the rains being at its peak. Because of the soft soil on which the mineral is found, activities are not carried out because pits collapse at this time. Lack of mechanized equipment and machineries is another reason the mine cannot operate during the rainy season.
Yanzu yanayin damuna ne, siyasa ba ma bari a zo a yi aiki din saboda kar a samu matsala saboda rashin kayan aiki na zamani.
As with other trades, this mine is not without its challenges. One very disturbing challenge is lack of mechanized equipment to operate with.
Kin san yanayin abu idan mutum bai da karfi sosai zai iya zuwa kaman banki ya karbo kuɗi ya zo ya yi kasuwa. To damuwar shine idan aka kai kamfani ba za a samu a biya kuɗi akan lokaci ba. To in ba biya akan lokaci ba kin ga banki da yana raising interest ɗinsa kuma kai ka kai kayan ba a biya ka ba ko ba ka bane akan lokaci. So matsalar mu dai shine na rashin jari, rashin karfi. Muke neman gwamnati ta shigo cikin harkar ta tallafa mana ta taimake mu mu samu mu yi karfi mu rike kowane kamfani duk abin da kowane kamfani yake bukata za mu bashi ba tare da mun yi kuka da cewa ga abu kaza ba.
Mu dai na farko gaskiya ba mu samun rashin karfi ne yake damun mu. In mu za mu fara aiki masu mun karɓo loan ne a bankuna su ba mu loan wata 3 ko 4 haka wani lokaci mu tara kayan ba za mu samu kasuwa ba zo suna mana cewa interest kudi ya karu ya yi yawa saboda rashin ba mu samun tallafi daga gwamnati da damuna kuma abin da ya saba ma yin aikin in mun yi mayan da damuna din na farko babu hanya na fidda kayan sai mota in ta shiga ta kafe ta yi kwana 3, 4, 5 ba ta fita ba kuma kin ga masu motoci ba za su fita ba to shi yasa yana ɗaya daga cikin abin da yake samu ke tsaye da aiki da damuna din babu hanya na farko kenan na biyu kuma saboda kiyaye hatsarurruka da matsaloli shi yasa ba mu bari a zuwa lamani da damuna din sai kamar Oktoba haka ya kama.
One very interesting fact about mining gypsum is that reclaiming the land does not take so much effort, since the mineral is mined in pits and so covering up the pits is not difficult. After these pits are covered up, the lands are used for farming activities. A variety of crops are grown on the reclaimed lands, which include sesame, guinea corn and millet. Funakai local government area is not the only area in Gombe that is blessed with gypsum. Nafada local government and Kwame local governments are both very rich in gypsum, and when put together, these areas mine up to 70,000 tons annually.
Thank you for staying with us. The program is Mining in Nigeria. As we have just seen, gypsum is one mineral that can further push the nation forward in its diversification course if properly exploited. One very good thing about this mineral is the easy land reclamation that makes miners diversify even through agriculture. We hope that subsequently we will pay another visit to a gypsum mine and bring you more details on how the mineral is exploited. Up next is a spotlight on another mineral in Nigeria with huge potentials. Stay tuned. I will be back shortly. And now, global mining tidbits are coming up next. Don't go away.
Rare earth producer Rainbow Rare Earths has continued to strengthen trial mining at its Gakara operations in Burundi, with concentrate production having increased to an average of 59.9 tons a month from June to September, an increase from the 31.7 tons a month average achieved between October 2019 and May 2020. In a statement on October 7th, Rainbow says it plans further increases in the trial mining fleet to allow growth in trial mining production to 100 tons a month concentrate, thereby better utilizing capacity of the existing pilot processing plant. CEO George Bennett said the ongoing strengthening of the trial mining and processing operations at Gakara were an important element of Rainbow's long-term strategy to develop a large-scale commercial mine. Shanta Gold has started construction work for its Singida gold mining project in central Tanzania. Construction is expected to span 2 years, with the first gold pour expected at the end of 2022. Shanta CEO Eric Zurin said the project will increase group production to over 100,000 ounces a year while maintaining the cost base, adding that the project has very attractive economics with a considerable upside through potential conversion of mineral resources currently outside of the reserve-based mine plan. Singida is hosted in a greenstone deposit, lending itself well to upside exploration potential, and future exploration will target the extension of reserves and will be funded by cash flow from the production at Singida. A rare flawless 102-carat white diamond found at the now-closed Victor mine in Canada has sold for $15.7 million, a record price in an online auction. The smaller egg-sized diamond was cut from a larger 271-carat rock found in 2018 and then cut and polished for more than a year. The bidding on the stone began in an online auction in September, culminating in an in-person auction at Sotheby's in Hong Kong last week. Sotheby's says the buyer is an unnamed Japanese man who bought the stone for his second daughter and has already renamed it after her, the Michael Star. He had previously bought an 88.22-carat diamond for his other daughter, Manami, last year. Sotheby's added the stone was the second largest oval diamond of its kind sold at auction, pointing out that the piece had achieved top rankings in each of the 4 C's by which a diamond is judged: cut, color, clarity, and carat weight.
Illegal exportation of our solid minerals is economic sabotage. You can do the mineral export business the right way. Apply for a mineral export license. Get and fill the Certificate of Incorporation Forms CAC 2 and 7. Give the source of the mineral. Get an inspection report. Pay royalty of 5% only and pronto. We are in the mineral export business legally and responsibly. Stop the illegal exportation of our solid minerals. For further inquiries, visit us at our headquarters, number 2, Luanda Crescent, off Adetokumbo Ademola Crescent, Wuse Zone 2, Abuja, FCT, Nigeria, or call us on +234 952 390 64 or +234 908 740 4761. You can also visit our website at www.minesandsteel.gov.ng or send an email to iaismp.support@minesandsteel.com. This message from the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development.
This is where we draw the curtains on this edition of the program. Until next week when I come your way again with more from the mining sector, do take care of yourself and stay safe.
If you see your brother standing by the road with a heavy load from the seeds he sowed.
Who is your neighbor? A question made popular from the old scripture. The answer has typically come from an unexpected angle. The admonishment to love your neighbor in the same manner that you love yourself really is as old as the story of the Good Samaritan. But really, the sentiment remains very important today. In the past, coexistence was our default state. But in this present climate of heightened security, it seems that the walls and the barricades that we're so focused on have separated and imprisoned us. Do you know your neighbors? Our forefathers made extra effort to welcome new members of the community into a larger family. That is a culture that's African, indeed Nigerian. Sadly, that culture is on the decline. Now we host festivities in our homes without extending so much as a simple invite to our next door neighbor. Makes you wonder, does charity still begin at home? Perhaps we're scared, but scared of what? Ignorance is at the root of hostility. So education and tolerance are vital. Our focus should be on bridging our differences and emphasizing the things that we have in common. We need to be eager to learn more about the people around us. Get to know your neighbors. Treat them well. The injunction to be your brother's keeper was not just for Cain and Abel, but for us all.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Thank you for making Nigeria proud. President Buhari plays host to immediate past President of the United Nations General Assembly. Federal government to fulfill part of its financial obligations to the Academic Staff Union of Universities as dialogue between the two parties continues next week.
The climate change is real and there has to be more effort, more concerted effort.
Nigeria marks World Food Day with a 5% drop on food security in the face of COVID-19.
People will go back to the farm in a more organized, a more value-driven way.
Plus, towards rebuilding the Northeast, Commission redirects youths to till the land for job creation. Hello and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. We are live in Abuja. I am Juma Yusuf. Tonight, Adiola will be reading with me from the Center of Excellence, Lagos. You're welcome. We'll begin with the presidency, as President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed Nigeria's formal appreciation to the immediate past president of the United Nations General Assembly, Professor Tijani Mohamed Bande, for making the nation proud. This was while granting audience to the astute diplomat who is also the country's permanent representative to the United Nations. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
Professor Mohamed Bande was in the State House to formally express gratitude and appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari and the entire nation for supporting him in his year-long tenure as president of the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly. He thanked the Nigerian leader for giving him a chance to serve and the subsequent support. Professor Tijani Bande said the Nigerian leader not only gave him an assignment, but also the trust, leadership, and whatever he needed to succeed. President Muhammadu Buhari said the nation's diplomat had an opportunity to serve and indeed did so well. He takes pride in the fact that by a sort of coincidence, Professor Bande and Ambassador Amina Muhammad, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, served at the same time, saying he felt so proud to see his countryman and woman sitting side by side, taking charge of affairs when he addressed the United Nations General Assembly last year. Having been reappointed, Professor Mohamed Bande continues in his position as Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations General Assembly in New York. President Buhari used the opportunity to ask for patience and understanding of the country's development process, explaining that it is something that takes time. He, however, expressed optimism that advances in technology, education, and experience will help to speed up the process. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA.
Now, various issues of mutual concern dominated discussions as President Muhammadu Buhari played host to his Senegalese counterpart, Macky Sall, and that of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Sissoco Embalo. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the two visiting leaders applauded President Buhari for his leadership and genuine commitment to peace and stability across the West African sub-region.
This is the first time President Muhammadu Buhari is hosting two West African leaders since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. Reasons for their visit to Nigeria were not made public, and the high-level discussions held with President Muhammadu Buhari took place behind closed doors. NTA News, however, learned that issues of common interest between their countries were discussed, as well as those affecting the West African sub-region and the entire continent of Africa. Addressing newsmen shortly after, both President Macky Sall of Senegal and that of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Sissoco Embalo, were full of gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari for his sincerity of purpose and selfless leadership in the sub-region.
I want to salute the great action of Nigeria against Boko Haram and how Nigeria is supporting the cost of this war, even in all the Chad Basin area. And also his support in ECOWAS, because in Mali, in Niger, and Burkina Faso, we have a very serious situation.
We say thank you very much, President Buhari. We call him Baba. I give this name because his leadership makes some difference in the world. And I have for him in my heart, honest man.
President Embalo recently named a major road in his country's capital city, Bissau, after President Buhari as a mark of appreciation for his enormous contributions to peace, stability, security, and democratic enterprise in Guinea-Bissau. The three West African leaders also discussed the present situation in Mali, which President Buhari had earlier described as welcoming and reassuring.
As you know, ECOWAS was very involved since the beginning. They have 18 months transition, so we help and continue to support this transition, and we hope by the end of December of next year, they will come back to the normal institutional situation, and they will have election, and they can come back very strong.
Key officials of the governments of Nigeria, Senegal, and Guinea-Bissau supported their leaders during the high-level engagement that lasted about 1.5 hours. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
To other matters now, it is election season in the West African region, and Guinea is up next, with voters heading to the polls on Sunday to elect a president. The incumbent president, Alpha Condé, is hoping to pull a repeat of his victory in 2015 to clinch a third term of another 6 years. His ever-consistent political rival, Celio Diallo, is banking on a surge in votes by undecided youth voters to spring a surprise in the outcome of Sunday's vote. We'll now go over to Conakry, where our man Nnamdi Odibo is standing by. Nnamdi, if you can hear me, we're joining you by Zoom. What is the general ambience in Conakry just days to the election amidst, they say, tension, pitting two former rivals, together in this election?
Well, Jumaine, thank you so much for joining me. But in the hours leading to when the electioneering campaigns would officially peak, well, of course, I'm talking about midnight later today. And so, as expected, there's been a lot of excitement in Conakry, where I've been monitored events in the last couple of hours. And I can tell you that the parties have been quite active. They've been out there on the road, singing, dancing with their supporters. I mean, you see the two main parties. But let me just quickly say this, that there are about 13 candidates participating in the presidential polls, 11 males and 2 females. But as we see play out in most parts of not just Africa, most parts of the world, there are 2 giants, 2 leading candidates in the current polls, in the current election. I'm talking about the incumbent president, Alpha Condé, and his political rival. He has been his rival for a couple of years now, as a matter of fact, since 2010, and I mean Celio Diallo of the opposition party. The campaigns have been fierce. It's expected. Guinea apparently has a very active political space. The people are quite passionate about politics here. We know a bit about their background and how things have been in Guinea, the military incursions, of long-term military involvement and engagement in politics. And then Diallo's emergence in 2010 formally signaled the transition to democracy officially. I mean, it was conducted in a peaceful manner and it was quite celebrated. He is looking forward to clinching a third term in office, I beg your pardon, and we do know how that played out. There was a referendum a couple of months back, sometime in March, where the constitution was amended to allow him to participate in this election. That is still up for debate. It's still part of what people are talking about in the town, Jumai, and we don't know how that will play out, whether to help him or whether that will work against him, but we're looking forward to how things play out come Sunday, Jumai.
Okay, Nnamdi, they said the constitution was changed for him to contest for a third term. That's another 6 years. He's 82 now. And the opposition is saying the international community is turning the other eye to threat to democracy in that country. What's your take on that?
Well, Juman, like we know, you would recall that it was a referendum and it was put out there, but something quite interesting played out. We saw the opposition pull out from the referendum, and of course that made way for Alpha Condé to take the floor. Literally, his people, his supporters just voted for him, and it was a smooth sail for him, to participate in this election because he more or less had no opposition against him in the referendum. But of course, Juman, there are a lot of strong points going for the president despite his age. We do know that he is well known. Before now, he was quite acclaimed as a reformist economist. And we also do know that he has been able to manage the military in that country. a lot of people would say that that should work for him. Well, talking about what could work against him, well, there have been aggrieved and dissenting voices. Well, maybe that will come to play and work against him. There's also the fact that, despite the fact that the economy rebounded a couple of months back, it's not looking that good anymore. And so there are also people who are aggrieved about that. But then he's been able to lead Guinea out of recession, I mean, between 2010 and now. And, that should also go for something, Jumai.
Okay, thank you so much, Nnamdi, for your input. We'll be expecting more from you as the election progresses. Thank you so much for joining us. Back home, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has solicited the assistance of Pakistan in building Nigeria's defense industry, especially in the production of weapons. He was speaking at a meeting with a delegation from the Pakistani Senate. Ignatius Onko reports.
Inter-parliamentary visit from the Pakistani legislature to the National Assembly. Chairman of the Pakistani Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Hussein Sahid, led the delegation of senators to the President of the Senate. Senator Lawan, who acknowledged Nigeria-Pakistan 60-year-old relations, commended the South Asian country for her support in the fight against insurgents in Nigeria, as he also called for more assistance.
In the area of helping Nigeria to build our defense industry. We started together in the 70s. For some reasons, we are still struggling to get stronger in the area of manufacturing or producing our needed defense weapons.
You against the Boko Haram and we against the Pakistan Taliban. 75,000 Pakistani soldiers and civilians have been martyred in this war. And we did it on our own, like you did it on our own. And when we supported you with small arms and other weapons.
The visit was primarily to seek Nigeria's support for the chairman of the Pakistani Senate, Mohammed Sadiq Sanjirani, who is vying for the office of President of the Inter-Parliamentary Union in November this year.
What we require in IPU is reforming IPU to make it more robust and vibrant candidature as far as the Nigerian Senate is concerned.
For the first time in the history of the Global Parliamentary Association, its election will be conducted virtually from the National Assembly. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
To security matters now, the Directorate of Defense Media Operations, DMO, says the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has neutralized several Islamic State of West Africa province elements and destroyed their hideouts at Tudun Wulgo and Tumbingini on the fringes of Lake Chad in Borno State. Coordinator of the DMO, Major General John Eneche, in a statement, explained this was achieved through airstrikes executed on 15 October 2020 as part of a new subsidiary operation tagged Wutar Tapki, after a series of aerial surveillance missions, and indicate that the two locations were being used as a staging area where some ISWAP leaders and their fighters planned and launched attacks. Following this confirmation, the Air Task Force dispatched Nigerian Air Force fighter jets and helicopter gunships to engage the two locations, scoring accurate hits on the target areas, destroying some structures and neutralizing several of the terrorists. The federal government has reaffirmed resolve to adopt strategies necessary to ensure all crimes bedeviling parts of the country are fully eradicated and put to a hold. Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola said this at a town hall meeting on stakeholders' engagement in internal security and conflict resolution held in Katsina State. Howell Aliru reports.
Hall meeting, which was convened by the Federal Ministry of Interior in collaboration with the Ministry of Police Affairs, engaged critical stakeholders with a view to identifying from them the root causes of security challenges. Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola said the federal government is concerned over security situation in the northwest, that President Muhammadu Buhari had given a marching order for them to do whatever necessary to put an end to the activities of criminals in the region.
The stakeholders in their own words, eliciting from them how we will support the process of containing and eliminating those challenges.
We bring out a robust conflict resolution mechanism to engender security
peace and cordiality among various groups in Nigeria.
For Governor Aminu Bello Masari, the stakeholders' engagement town hall meeting was an addition to the Katsina state government efforts to addressing the insecurity situation in the state.
Anything about security, we give it the priority it deserves.
The stakeholders' engagement meeting indicates a continued partnership to ensuring that policies are formulated for effective maintenance of law and order in the country. Awal Haleru, NTA News.
The gradual failing of the rich societal norms and values of Africans in preserving the sanctity of a woman is giving critical stakeholders serious concern in the face of increasing abuse of rights of the girl child. This is why the Nigerian Television Authority is leading aggressive media campaign through its Brainchild project, Stand Against Rape and Rapists, to change the narrative. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
We stand against rape. We stand against rape. We stand against rape. We stand against rape.
Experiences and emotions thrilled the official launch of the Stand Against Rape and Rapist project, an initiative of the NTA to right the wrongs and give voice to the voiceless.
It should be an opportunity for people to speak up, to show support for victims of rape. You don't know it if you don't feel it.
Now that I have spoken, you are returning me to my uncle who abused me. What happens to me?
If we were to follow the provisions of the Penal Code and Criminal Code by sentencing people to life imprisonment, I'm sure it would have served as a deterrent.
For the NTA to take lead in its new campaign, Stand Against Rape and Rapists, I think we have reached the tip of the iceberg.
The broadcast code especially encourages broadcasters in Nigeria to promote the dignity of womanhood.
Stakeholders lauded the social commitment championed by the NTA and advocate strengthening of existing laws and formulation of policy frameworks to fight emerging challenges of this common enemy. The First Lady and other key players in the End the Rape campaign say the determination to eliminate the social pandemic is a lifetime commitment which requires support of all and sundry.
The resurgence of rape cases in recent time, which has affected many women and girls, even infants, has led to a renewed action from stakeholders, including Future Assured program.
The ministry mobilized wives of the state governors to form a coalition to address the menace of gender-based violence, and especially rape in our country.
The Nigerian Television Authority started its own campaign to ensure the total eradication of sexual and gender-based violence in all its ramifications.
As the unveiling of the new roadmap to achieving maximum protection of the rights of the defenseless begins, the hope of victims and vulnerable persons is for many to take cue from the NTA in defeating the open scourge. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Indeed, a scourge that must be totally eradicated from our society. This is NTA Network News. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Recent genuine concerns and agitations by Nigerians about the excessive use of force and, in some cases, extrajudicial killings and wrongful conduct by men of the Nigerian police force. The disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reform in order to ensure that the primary duty of the police and other law enforcement agencies remains the protection of lives and livelihoods of our people. We will also ensure that all those responsible for misconduct or wrongful acts are brought to justice. We also deeply regret the loss of life of the young man in Oyo State during the recent demonstrations. I have directed that the circumstances of his death should be thoroughly investigated. Meanwhile, it is important to recognize that the vast majority of men and women of the police force are hardworking and diligent in performing their duties. The few bad eggs should not be allowed to tarnish the image and reputation of the force.
My tailor don't be your mate. He don't live for your grade. If he knock you out, tell no go the hell. Anytime I want to celebrate, he go so the clock, he know the late. He dey sweet me like a chocolate. My tailor know the disappoint. Tailor we go Harvard University. You don't go the job like a baka. If you see my tailor,
make that switch today and enjoy all calls at 11 kobo per second. Free data on every recharge and double data for 3 months on the network with the widest 4G coverage.
Okay, my tailor.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
For 55 years, Nigerian families have trusted Dettol to protect them from germs. Dettol has played a central role in building a healthy Nigeria, teaching school children around the country to wash their hands and maintain good hygiene, showing new and expectant mothers how to protect their infants from germs. With the government, Dettol has initiated Clean Niger to educate Nigerians on disease prevention practices, also donating resources in times of public health crisis, most recently with the COVID-19 pandemic. As we celebrate the Global Hand Washing Day 2020, Dettol remains committed to the goal of a healthy Nigeria. By washing our hands regularly, we can prevent the spread of illnesses, live full, happy lives.
If you run mad, we know waiting cause am. Every time na this phone. Have you gone to buy more units for light? Give me this phone. Ha! They don't finally get you. Enter store, you go see one pink nylon. Bring and come. If you try am. Now that chicken where they use corner look me. Now I want to. That one.
Oh! So now why you send me message when no get with this? Shate. Make yourself begin to enjoy credit and data. Berekete.
Introducing Berekete. Activate a new glow SIM and get 600 Naira free credit plus 700% bonus on every recharge and up to 100% bonus on data plans. Find your first with Berekete. Glow Unlimited.
There's an easier way to get more data. Get more out of life with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now. Data is life.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
You're welcome back. Wednesday, 21st October has been fixed for the continuation of dialogue between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to enable the leadership of the union consult their organs on the offers and agreements reached at this last meeting. Emmanuel Anyemiro has details.
Presenting the outcome of the meeting, Minister of Labour and Employment Chris Ngige said government had pledged to pay the sum of 40 billion naira, being the pending and academic allowance of university teachers. He explained that out of that amount, 30 billion naira would be paid on or before the 6th of November, while the remaining 10 billion naira would be spread equally over 2 tranches to be paid in May 2021 and February 2022. The federal government agreed to fulfill its financial obligations to ASU members, particularly outstanding salaries and allowances. The parties could not agree on the mode of payment. The government side appealed to ASU to enroll on the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System platform in the meantime and migrate back to the University Transparency and Accountability Solution, UTAS, after its efficacy had been proven through the necessary integrity test. The union refused, insisting on being exempted from IPs. The meeting also agreed that if UTAS passes all the different stages of the integrity test, which would involve the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, and the Office of the National Security Advisor, after ascertaining its efficacy, it will be adopted for the payment of the university staff. Government also offered to pay by the end of January 2021 the sum of 20 billion naira as funding for the revitalization of public universities. The president of ASU, Professor Biodun Ogunyemi, appealed to government to treat the matter as a national emergency, as the education sector needed urgent intervention. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
To other news now, Nigeria's food production output has dropped by about 5% this year due to COVID-19, flooding, drought, pests and diseases. There is, however, a significant increase in livestock production nationwide. This is included in a survey conducted by Ahmadu Bello University Zaria for Federal Ministry of Agriculture. Details with Musa Baba Aliu.
Environmental issues coupled with COVID-19 were factors that hindered the country's food production output this year. A survey shows that rice production decreased by 3% in 28 states. Maize dropped by 1.5%, with final output estimated at 12.4 million tons. Sorghum decreased by 0.37% and cassava 2.47%. However, soybean production increased from 1.048% to 1.148 million tons.
The climate change is real and there has to be more effort, more concerted effort. We also have to develop a strategy to strengthen the agricultural extension services. And we also have to build a lasting and sustainable grassroots extension delivery institution at federal and state levels.
Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mahmoud Sabananunu, received the report.
We are trying to see what we can do in terms of supporting farmers with seeds and other inputs. And also, we are trying to, as much as possible, to key in the farmers under the economic sustainability facility so that they will be able to have funds that to invest in rice production and also to invest in maize production.
Meanwhile, Nigeria joined the world in celebrating this year's World Food Day, with government promising more support to smallholder farmers. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
For more on World Food Day, I have in the studio Professor Abubakar Othman, Executive Director, National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. You're welcome to NTA Network News.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yes.
Your institution conducted a survey that shows a decrease in food production. Is this something to be worried about now?
It is not really something to be worried about, because already when we made the presentation before the Honorable Minister, he quickly, responded by direction that we should look at how we can really combat this issue of, decrease how we can take advantage, because the reasons for the decrease is as a result of the flood in several states, especially in the north. And this flood, how do we take advantage of this? So we are already has directed that we should go into dry season, what we call residual moisture education, so that, you know, as the flood is receding, especially in the months of October and November, then we can start the dry season immediately. So that he has already directed NRLS as well as Federal Department of Agricultural Extension to liaise with the ADPs in the affected states, so that we can quickly take advantage of the moisture and then see how we can mobilize farmers and bring out, you know, improved seeds that can withstand this, and then be able to see how we can, bridge the gap of what we are going to lose in the dry season.
Okay, as we celebrate World Food Day, population growth, we have more than 200 million Nigerians now. COVID-19, environmental challenges. How is the country going to cope with, you know, demand for food and supply?
Thank you very much for this question. It is true that Nigeria, you know, when we got independent, we were just about 42 million, and today we are over 200 million, and every month need food. And it's also very true that, producing food is very challenging, not only to Nigeria, to all nations. But one good thing that we should be very happy and be thankful to the Almighty is that Nigeria is very resourceful when it comes to agriculture. In Nigeria, we have rainfall ranging from 700 millimeters to about 4,000 millimeters of rainfall, in the country. And there's no part of this country that we don't have rainfall, at least up to the level of, 500 to 700. So that allows us to produce more than 100 agricultural commodities. So all we need to do is to actually, adopt improved technology so that we can increase our productivity. And I'm sure that if we do that, Nigeria has the potential to even feed the whole of Africa, not only Nigeria.
Yes, we have a potential for years now, more than 3 decades. Agriculture has been on the agenda of every government that comes in. And now this government is trying as much as possible with the anchor borrowers, with all the agricultural initiatives. So how else can government support farmers, to upscale production in a situation like this?
Thank you very much. You see, what we need really to do is that federal government is quite all right, doing very well. But what is out of the state governments? Because agriculture is on concurrent list. But you find that most of the states are not doing very well. Let me tell you that this survey that we have conducted, we found out that in the month of August, about 24 ADPs have not received any kobo for capital that is to do with extension services. So that means that there is no extension services in those states, except perhaps maybe third-party projects and this donor-supported projects.
So you mean the synergy between the federal government and the state government is sort of not there?
Exactly. There has to be. Actually, the issue is that most of the state governments are paying lip services to agriculture. Many of these states, let me tell you that, we look at the extension agent, for instance. In Nigeria, we have just about 12,000 extension agents. And these extension agents are staff of the state governments. And many of them, especially, there are some states that have only 9 extension agents. The only state that you can say you have more than 1,000 extension agents is Kano. So, and the Food Agriculture Organization recommended that the ratio of extension agents should be one extension agent to serve about 500 farmers. But right now, we have a ratio of 1 extension agent to serve about 16,000 farmers, which is practically impossible. And in addition to that, there's no cost, no logistic cost that is supported to extension. And extension services requires a lot of logistics because you cannot do extension in the office. You have to go also to the field. And going out to the field requires that you have to fully have, vehicles or motorcycle or whatever, and you have to have a kind of allowance that at least in the farm or in the field you'll be able to, sustain yourself. So this kind of thing, this is one of the issues that is really very challenging, and the state government are not doing well. I must tell you this.
Well, Professor Abubakar Usman, we hope that the recommendations you've given will be taken into consideration. He's the Executive Director, National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. Thank you so much for coming on Network News.
Thank you very much. The name is Professor Mohammed Khalid Othman. Thank you very much.
Professor Mohammed Khalid Othman.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has restated the commitment of his administration to ensure self-sufficiency in food production and stability in prices of commodities in the country. Olabode Arewa reports.
The president gave the assurance in a statement at the launch of Outgrow Hunger Nigeria, an initiative of a non-governmental organization, Agricultural Agenda Nigeria Initiative, founded by Mr. Ephraim Odenwige. The campaign was launched on World Food Day, observed on October 16 every year, and this year commemorates the 75th anniversary of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization with the theme, Grow, Nourish, Sustain, Together, Our Actions are Our Future. President Buhari welcomes the campaign, declaring that the objectives and strategies of Outgrow Hunger Nigeria complement government's policies, programs, and efforts on food security. In rising to the challenges, the president affirmed that his administration believes in the efficacy of shared responsibilities because the issue of food security affects everyone. President Buhari directed relevant government ministries, departments, and agencies to explore opportunities from the perspectives of their different mandates to support the campaign. He also called on relevant agencies of state and local governments to join in the campaign to keep its momentum alive during its 2-year span. Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
The federal government says it will continue to support and deliver the much-needed assistance to communities affected by flood across the country. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Saidia Umar Farouk, stated this at the distribution of relief materials in Sokoto. Musa Abubakar reports.
This year's flooding experience is one that lingers on the minds of many victims like Aisha Umar, whose house has been affected and farmland submerged. But with the presence of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Saidia Umar Farouk, who came to flag off the distribution of relief materials for these victims, the bad experience for them could soon be forgotten. The relief materials, which includes food items, mattresses, and building materials, are part of assistance directed by the President to activate National Emergency Management Agency to respond in providing necessary assistance to affected persons.
Over the unfortunate incident of the flooding that occurred in the state some few weeks ago, we're here to hand over relief items to the affected communities of the flood.
State Emergency Management Agency has been receiving the items supplied by the federal government.
The minister also launched the federal government cash grant scheme of 20,000 naira for rural women. The grant is expected to increase access to financial capital. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and that of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, visited the Sokoto State Governor and Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar. In Sokoto, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
First Lady of Nigeria has distributed 29 hair dryers to women in hairdressing business and 500 maternity kits to young mothers in Benue State through her pet project Future Assured initiative. Aisha Buhari, who was represented by the wife of the Benue State Governor, Dr. Eunice Otom, made the donations in Makudi. Grace Anyalewa Ichekwa has details.
The wife of the Nigerian President, Aisha Buhari, who was represented by the Benue State Governor's wife, Dr. Eunice Otom, visited the Federal Medical Center and Bishop Moray Medical Center, all in Makudi, where she made the symbolic presentation of some items to the mothers and new babies at the health facilities. The beneficiaries, who were full of gratitude, promised to use the items judiciously.
Thank you, and may God bless her. I'll continue to give things like that. Thank you for Aisha, the president's wife, for this
wonderful gift that she has given to us, and may God continue to bless her and keep her.
I am privileged to receive this gift, and may God bless her to always continue to show and extend this hand of kind gesture.
Mrs. Otom says the gesture is to empower young women and youths in the country to reduce youth restiveness. She promised to continue the gesture, noting that beneficiaries should ensure they make maximum use of the items.
The people that have benefited from it are also very happy with her gesture. And we pray that Almighty God will continue to grant her a good heart, will continue to bless her with strength.
At the Government House, Makurdi, Mrs. Otom made a symbolic presentation of 10 hair dryers to 10 beneficiaries. In Makurdi, Grace Anyalewa, Ichepa, NTA News.
To other matters now, the Northeast Development Commission is steadily reconstructing the Northeast region as the federal government intensifies efforts to completely rid the region of insurgents. Emmanuel Akila reports that in Gombe, the commission is turning attention to agriculture and youth empowerment for job creation.
Besides the provision of infrastructure and other amenities, the Northeast Development Commission has the mandate of restoring the agricultural potentials the Northeast region is known for.
We have designed a very integrated agri programs so that our people will go back to the farm in a more organized, a more value-driven ways.
The Agricultural Mechanization and Modernization Scheme by the Northeast Development Commission targeted at restoring agriculture in the Northeast region devastated by insurgency also provide job opportunity for the youths.
Like I see all these machines now, they were not coupled like this, we are the one that coupled it here in Nigeria.
To effectively give the youths a holistic psychosocial therapy, the Commission has set up information communication technology workshops in Gombe, equipped to train the youths to be self-reliant. Civil society organizations have been watching the approach by the NEDC in rebuilding the Northeast region.
They are carrying everybody, every stakeholder is engaged and is involved in the processes.
The Commission inspected facilities for increased opportunities to expand agriculture and the Federal Teaching Hospital Gombe, where it intends to install a polymerized chain reaction machine for testing COVID-19 samples. The Commission is replicating this in the 6 states of the Northeast region. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Still staying in Gombe, Gombe State Government and Chinese company have signed a memorandum of understanding for the exploration of the coal deposit in the state to generate electricity power, the report.
Discussions have been concluded, and it is time to translate the agreements into concrete actions. It is about nature's blessings to Gombe State, the abundance of coal, which has been underutilized for decades.
We equally have been watching to see that we harness the coal resources, the coal deposit that we have in Gombe, so that we can generate power and encourage and stimulate development of industries and economic activity.
Besides supporting businesses to help the state economy grow, the value chain in the power generation would help create jobs.
You have so many solid minerals and good human resources, and also especially you have the coal.
The deal is for the generation of 450 megawatts of electricity, which will be executed in 3 phases of 150 each. Secretary to Gombe State Government, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar Njoli, signed for Gombe State, while Mr. King Wigwa signed on behalf of TBEA Company for RC18 Group. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Time now to head to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by with some reports. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Jumai. Thank you. Against the background of recent agitations by some Nigerians who are calling for outright reformation of the Nigeria police, the Lagos state government has set up a 7-man panel to examine and advise the government on the critical issues raised. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, at a media briefing in Lagos, said the move is part of steps to address the concerns raised by the people. Nosa Osula tells us more.
The 7-man panel would be headed by Justice Doris Okuwobi, among other members, which would include Ebun Olu Adegoruwa, while a slot has been reserved for a youth and a human rights activist. The governor, who explained that the panel would first work for a period of 6 months, assured residents of his administration's commitment to defend their rights and take the issue of police misconduct very seriously.
I assure you that even as we stand here today, we have released every single protestant that has been in or in police detention.
On the attack on protesters, the governor condemned the act while making it clear that government was not responsible for the attack.
The BRT bus that was supposedly alleged that transported thugs into the place was a normal scheduled bus.
The governor, who appealed to the youths to embrace peace as 3 of their demands had been met, added that it was time to move on as government had been sincere. In Lagos, Nosa, Usula, NTA News.
Now, rewarding exceptional teachers with impressive prizes and restoring respect to the teaching profession in Nigeria played out at this year's Maltina Teacher of the Year. Dotun Oguyemi has the report of the 6th edition of awards organized by the Nigerian Brewers PLC, makers of Maltina.
Bumi Anani, an English and literature teacher of Concordia College, Yola, Adamawa State, emerged the Maltina Teacher of the Year. The 2020 winner of the competition smiled home with a grand prize of 6.5 million naira, 1 million naira every year in the next 5 years. That's not all. A fully equipped block of classrooms will be built in a school. The largesse is courtesy of Nigerian Breweries PLC, makers of Maltina.
Imagine a woman having to combine her feminine responsibilities with an intellectual rigor like teaching. Of course, it is heartwarming.
Momentous rewards were also presented to exceptional teachers and their schools at the 6th edition of the Maltina Teacher of the Year. 1,234 teachers were selected from all the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Their entries were electronically submitted in an essay form. Minister of State for Education Chukwemeka Nwajuba commended the Nigerian Breweries PLC for the laudable initiative of rewarding outstanding teachers.
We have pledged to provide the platform for its expansion and to make it all-inclusive so that the platform of the government can be used to deploy some of the resources that they have.
Managing Director Nigerian Breweries PLC disclosed that the aim is to invest in various structured interventions towards improving Nigeria's education sector.
We believe that, as in any private company, we have to do our own bit to the society, and we do it through this Felix Oiheri Foundational Trust Fund and through Maltina to promote the best profession in the world, which is teaching.
Since 2015, the Nigerian Breweries Felix Oiheri Education Trust Fund has established and dedicated a significant commitment to celebrating outstanding teachers in Nigeria. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
It's time for us to go on another break. The news will continue thereafter. To stay with us.
Still there for you to still win, oh. So you still fit be millionaire, and you still fit to win instant prizes like tricycles, motorcycles, television, and plenty of move, oh. For you to win, now to just buy any bag of cement with the right bag of goodies too on top. Remove and scratch the scratch card where they inside, and you feel win instant prizes. We also include airtime, Dangote food packs, make you keep the same scratch card for the spell to win star prize. Get all the cards to spell TANGOTE, be a millionaire. If you go collect your prizes from Dangote Depot, regional offices and selected wholesale outlets within your area. Promo go day until December 15, 2020. Dangote bag of goodies season 2. Spell and be a millionaire. This year go still better for you.
There are no small beginnings, only stepping stones to bigger things. That's our philosophy at Premium Pension. And so, no matter the size of your money, our team of expert fund managers invested wisely and actively. to make sure your money is always working as hard as you do. After all, the things we're building today can help shape your future in the long run. And with the right partner by your side, the one thing you're sure to do is soar. Premium Pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
You're welcome back. The efforts at intensifying anti-corruption campaign have no doubt increased the need to inculcate the culture of integrity among the youths. Kemi Oshin in this report takes a look at steps towards inclusion of young people in the campaign against corruption in the society.
Young people with their energy are often referred to as agents of change, having power and responsibility to change the culture and influence their peers in particular areas. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, as one of the agencies saddled with the responsibility of fighting corruption, recently organized the educational competition to inculcate sound morals in the youths.
When they know how evil corruption is, they'll fight against it and they'll kick against it, and their peer group also will be encouraged. From the commission here, we feel hard work, integrity also need to be celebrated.
If Nigerians can join their hands together to stop corruption, it's going to go a very long way.
People have to be honest. So if you have a good name, that means you have attained something that made people to look at you as a honest person.
The competition, which commemorates the 20th anniversary of ICPC, is intended to reduce corruption through value reorientation. In Ibadan, Kemi Oshin, NTA News.
Ministry of Youth and Sports Development honors 60 sports icons in Abuja. Sports update with Badi Adele is next.